McGraw-Hill Professional presents The Customer Experience Edge, Technology and Techniques for Delivering an Enduring, Profitable, and Positive Experience to Your Customers. Written by Reza Soudagar, Vinay Iyer, and Dr. Volker G. Hildebrand. Narrated by Bruce Miles. Forward by Juan Carlos Herrera, Executive Vice President, Cemex USA. The world in which we have to do business today is certainly different. Dramatic shifts in technology, social networking, the democratization of information, globalization, and the recent economic climate have all altered the old ways of doing business and engaging with customers. In the 1990s, companies focused on re-engineering their internal processes and operations to achieve greater supply chain and manufacturing efficiencies. In the early 2000s, the focus shifted to taking full advantage of the efficiencies that were possible by using the Internet to sell goods and provide services. However, in the second decade of the 21st century, the focus is shifting from the inside out to the outside in. Our company, Cemex, is a leading global supplier of building materials such as cement, ready-mix concrete, and aggregates. At Cemex USA, we have realized that running the business from the customer's point of view is our competitive advantage. As I read the case studies and other insights in this book, I realize that we are not alone in this journey. The experience that companies create for their clients and prospects is driven not by industry, company size, or geographic location, but by a much broader customer perspective. Cemex is in the building materials business. But when we are talking about the customer experience, our competitors are not only companies within our industry, but also FedEx, Apple, Amazon, Marriott, Disney, and other customer experience-focused companies discussed in this book. The people who deal with us day in and day out are also consumers of other products and services. The customer experiences that they realize in their personal lives have influence in their professional lives. When a consumer can easily buy a book or a video or reserve a hotel room through his smartphone, he questions why he cannot get the same level of effortless shopping when he is buying products from us. The customer experience edge is not just a high-level view of how organizations should improve the experience they offer their clients. I am a process guy. I want to know what is behind the curtain. This book describes how the corporate culture, strategy, execution, and technologies need to be harnessed to provide a positive and profitable customer experience. While it is easy for a customer to ask for a better experience, we have learned, and this book shows, that it is difficult for a company to become customer-centric, especially if it has to deliver that experience consistently and profitably to thousands of customers. First, there must be a top-down support from management and then a bottom-up commitment from the organization. As my colleague Ven Bontha explains in the book, in 2003 we used a customer survey to determine what our customers liked and did not like about our service. Those data provided both top management and the rest of the organization with a roadmap on how best to implement an effective customer experience program. Second, the only way we can provide a great experience to our thousands of customers is to make sure that information is readily available and accessible. We receive 250,000 calls a year from our customers placing orders, asking about the status of a delivery or of their account, or other inquiries. Without the right technology in place, providing great customer experiences on that scale is challenging, if not impossible. The technology that we utilize must match the desired customer engagement needs. We have a saying at Cemex that we used to have a 180-degree interface in our call center. That is, the customer service representative would have a number of desktop computers, each connected to one of the disparate systems that held customer information. The rep would swivel in her chair from one screen to the next to obtain different pieces of information to answer a customer's question. As a result of the obstacles to finding the required information, not only did we waste the rep's and the customer's time, but we incurred unnecessary back-office costs. We realized that empowering our employees by having all the relevant information easily accessible in one place is critical to our success in dealing with our customers. We invested in the right technology platform to enable this, and we are realizing the benefits. This book makes this point very clearly through several case studies. In addition, the book and our own experience show that improving customer experience is a journey. The screws are never tight, and they always need adjusting as our customers increasingly expect more. At CEMEX, we continue to look for ways to position ourselves as the provider of choice, and the Customer Experience Edge is an excellent how-to book that will help you understand how to deliver a positive, profitable, and sustainable experience for your customers. I hope you find the case studies in this book helpful as you begin or redesign your own customer experience program. Juan Carlos Herrera, Executive Vice President, CEMEX, USA. Introduction. Think of the last 5 interactions you had with a business, either as an employee or as a consumer. They can be any type of encounter: a phone call to address a billing problem, using your smartphone to research product information while standing in a store aisle, seeking recommendations through your social media connections, an in-store visit to make a return, receiving a discount or marketing message via short messaging service, SMS, navigating a vendor's website to purchase an item or troubleshoot an issue, or spending time on web forums to research the future purchase of construction equipment, a load of cement, or 1,000 microprocessors to embed in robots that your company builds. Considering all of those interactions, what is the average rating you would give your overall experience as a customer of these businesses? Use a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. Remember that number. Now consider the following facts. In a recent survey by Bloomberg Businessweek Research Services, BBRS, more than 80% of companies named customer experience, CE, as being among their top 5 strategic priorities in the coming year. When asked to rate themselves on the customer experience that they provide, the same companies scored themselves a mediocre 3.62 on a scale of 1 to 5. Although the ratings may vary by industry, company size, and role of the person giving the rating, a sizable gap remains between many companies' intent and their reality. So which of these perspectives does your customer experience rating align with? Is it evident that the businesses that you patronize are working hard to delight you? The fact is, it is hard to find a company today that is not investing in its customer experience. Across industries and in business-to-consumer, B2C, and business-to-business, B2B, companies alike, investments are being made to map customer journeys, identify moments of truth, empower employees, create innovative ways to close the gaps between performance and expectations, or otherwise wow and delight customers. Companies can no longer compete on product and price alone. They are now working to sell an experience that is highly valued by customers and difficult, if not impossible, for competitors to replicate. To do this, they are trying to better manage the cumulative impact, both emotional and practical, of all of the encounters and interactions, both direct and indirect, that their customers have with them. Creating such an experience is the new business battleground. If it's done right, it's what will define your competitive edge. If it's not done at all, the very future of your business will be in question. But in many cases, the work that is being done is not reflected in the profits and other positive results that executives and customers want to see. Examples of poor customer experiences have only become more visible and entertaining thanks to social media videos, blog rants, and Twitter dispatches that go viral. A small sampling of the more famous of these interactions includes film director Kevin Smith's Too Fat to Fly Twitter rant, musician Dave Carroll's United Breaks Guitars hit video, journalist Jeff Jarvis's Dell Hell blog posts, and writer ad critic Bob Garfield's now-defunct ComcastMustDie.com. And businesses have horror stories of their own. After the Mayo Clinic, the University of Texas, law firms, and thousands of other companies received desktop computers with defective components, users who complained were told that the problems were not caused by hardware issues but by improper use. Unsealed documents from a lawsuit reviewed by the New York Times, soon proliferated throughout the Internet and humiliated the company. And then there is the other side of the spectrum. Businesses that throw so many resources at providing such a fantastic customer experience that they cannot sustain their level of customer centricity for very long. These are the grocers that order specialty items that one customer requests while ignoring the negative impact of the unsold inventory. These are the businesses that extend extremely customer-friendly policies that cause trouble for their bottom line. Costco, for instance, had to end its lenient return policy on consumer electronics in 2007, after finding out that setting no time limit for fully refunding returns was not financially feasible. It was all too easy for people to take advantage of the Costco policy by returning older items and upgrading to new ones while benefiting from the price drops. The bottom line is, it is as dangerous to throw too many resources at the customer experience without giving enough thought to sustaining the experience and profiting from your investment as it is to put too little into the customer experience. Equally common are the numerous technology investments made with the best of intentions that are intended to improve the customer experience, but simply fail to deliver on the promise. Think of the self-service and automated voice response systems that backfired as companies tried to do the right thing by their customers, but ended up frustrating them. That is why we wrote this book, to help executives and managers smartly and sensibly leverage the right technologies at the right time to create a customer experience that differentiates them from their competitors, is difficult for others to replicate, and uses both foundational and disruptive technologies to accomplish this in a cost-effective, agile, scalable, and sustainable manner that leads to profitability. Much has been said and written about the business value of delivering a great customer experience, but very few books explain how smart technology investments play a strategic role in helping companies consistently offer a customer experience that leads to top and bottom line focused goals. We call this sensible, smart, sustainable approach the customer experience edge. This edge is the new competitive weapon that all businesses need in order to create a differentiated offering that customers value, transforming them not into just loyal but passionate advocates who promote your offerings to others and co-create and co-innovate with you, boosting your revenues and profits. Technology is the secret ingredient in achieving the customer experience edge, as it enables companies to create a strong customer experience on a large scale and at lower cost. After all, it's not just about delivering a great customer experience. It's about doing so in a sustainable and ultimately profitable way. We have learned the right and wrong ways of providing the customer experience edge during our collective 60 years as business school professors, consultants, and software industry executives. We have consulted with large international companies, worked at the biggest names in the consulting and software industries, including Accenture, Siebel, Oracle, and SAP, and played pioneering roles in creating the original customer-related software concepts and applications. As leaders of the SAP team that develops software designed to deliver positive and profitable customer experiences, we want to share our perspective and expertise with you. Already, SAP has helped many companies, large and small, from a global cement manufacturer to a billion-dollar semiconductor design automation company to a family-owned automobile importer, to the biggest retailer in Switzerland, excel at honing the customer experience edge. Using the customer experience for competitive advantage means not only a well-thought-out strategy, leadership support, the breaking down of organizational silos, and skilled management, but also an often overlooked element, the smart use of both foundational and disruptive technologies. You need the right type of IT infrastructure, layered with a clever use of traditional technologies, such as analytics, and newer technologies, such as social media, some of which are still emerging. The fact is, you can provide a great customer experience without great information technology, but you cannot scale that customer experience, deliver it consistently, sustain it indefinitely, or provide it profitably unless you have the right technological infrastructure and strategy. Scaling and sustaining the customer experience are key to profitability, because the funny thing is about the customer experience is that it does not stand still. Especially with the rising use of new technologies, the more you work at improving the customer experience, the higher the bar goes. With ever-expanding ways for customers to interact with companies, the job of providing a consistent, synchronized experience across all of those channels only becomes more difficult. The snowball effect is enormous. Interactions can occur on the web, through research, the company's site, social media, and online forums, on smartphones, tablets, and other mobile devices, through mobile point-of-sale capabilities, Twitter, and location-based services, on the phone through customer service and sales, and in the real world through face-to-face encounters and physical locations, just to name a few. It does not help that one bad experience can quickly become a PR nightmare once it hits the electronic grapevine that we call social media. But there is no turning the other way and letting this phenomenon pass. In today's world, there are fewer ways to grow, and widespread commoditization makes differentiation increasingly unobtainable. Digitally engaged customers, who are seldom found without their mobile device of choice, trust the information, anecdotes, and reviews that they hear from one another or that they find online, not what they hear directly from companies. If they want to find a better deal, all it takes is one click, and they are gone. In today's environment, the economics of securing customer loyalty are both compelling and necessary. Companies today are reaching not just for high levels of customer satisfaction, but for customer loyalty and customer advocacy. Various studies have demonstrated that passionate, emotionally bonded customers are also highly profitable. In fact, a new science is being applied to measure the cost impact of a customer's bad experience and all of the resulting negative outcomes. Costs include the lost revenue opportunities from that customer and probably from others who were affected by that customer, in addition to the resource costs of attending to the customer complaint and fixing the problem. This science makes it clear that the cost of not investing in the customer experience is great enough to outweigh any doubt that the customer experience should be done, and done in a focused manner that aligns with business goals. It is no longer affordable for companies to just let the customer experience happen. According to research reports, it is predicted that more than 75% of products and services will be undifferentiated in 10 years' time, exhibiting similar capabilities and features. To avoid the downward spiral of a commodity market price war, the main competitive differentiation that companies can build is through their customer experience delivery, that is, creating and delivering on their customer experience edge. Creating the customer experience edge means going far beyond a company's traditional comfort zone. Companies are now competing on unfamiliar terrain, moving beyond the use of traditional incentives, such as guaranteed lower prices or loyalty programs, to keep customers from turning to competitors. They are increasingly relying on the murkier world of emotional and psychological incentives that are based more on behavioral science than on economic realities. Achieving the customer experience edge also requires a new focus on employee empowerment. In most cases, employees are motivated to satisfy customers' needs and desires, but they often do not have the technology tools, data access, incentives, or organizational standing to do so. There are two sides to this coin. Customers get frustrated when service reps and other customer-facing employees cannot help them, and the feeling is mutual among employees who do not have the right tools. With younger employees, sometimes called millennials, entering the workforce, this frustration will only grow, as these professionals increasingly expect to make use of the technology tools that are a constant presence in their personal lives. Throughout this book, we will share anecdotes, examples, and best practices from a wide range of businesses. Among them are those that are at the top of their game, such as Marriott, Cemex USA, and the Lego Group, and those that are climbing the learning curve, such as Comcast. In Part 1, we set the stage for the rest of the book. Throughout this section, we describe the state of the customer experience as it stands in today's new normal. Describe what the 4 essentials of the customer experience are and what they look like in action. Define what the customer experience looks like from the perspective of both customers and businesses, and describe how the customer experience is just as applicable for B2B as it is for B2C. Part 2 is our Making It Happen section, in which we explore how customer experience initiatives mean throwing out the old playbook for companies, employees, customers, and the technologies that companies choose. We also delve into the recipe for the customer experience, the practices, processes, and organizational structures that need to be in place in order to achieve the customer experience edge. In addition, we touch on the financial results that companies can expect to achieve. In Part 3, we detail the core role that technology plays in achieving the customer experience edge by delivering customer experience on a large scale and at lower cost. We discuss this from 2 angles: how to create the right technology foundation and the disruptive technologies that enable you to advance the game. Customer experience initiatives also pose opportunities and challenges for IT leaders to secure a spot at the table when business leaders are setting CE strategy. The CIO is in a prime position to be a key player in making the CE initiative successful. Finally, in our last section, Part 4, we explore how to continue the momentum of your customer experience initiative. This section includes a look at creating quick wins along the customer experience journey, how to measure the value of your customer experience program, the role of technology in exporting the customer experience to emerging economies, what the future of the customer experience will look like, and our summary of actions that companies should take when developing their customer experience edge. Our objective in writing this book is to illustrate how companies can deliver a differentiating, sustainable, and profitable customer experience by making strategic technology investments. Our goal for you after you read this book is that you feel empowered to champion a profitable customer experience initiative at your own company. Armed with a customer experience edge, your company will be prepared to compete not only in today's business world, but in whatever new market and economic forces tomorrow brings. When you deliver highly valuable experiences to your customers in a scalable, sustainable way, the reward is loyal, engaged advocates who help you propel your business forward in exciting and profitable ways. Part 1. Customer Experience, the New Competitive Battleground. Chapter 1. Customer Experience in the New Normal. 80% of companies say getting closer to customers and providing them with a differentiated experience is a top strategic objective. Their average rating of the customer experience they provide, however, is just 3.6 on a scale of 1 to 5. From the Bloomberg Businessweek Research Services Survey, 2010. Everyone has a customer experience horror story. The cable company technician who never shows up. The parts supplier that you have to call repeatedly for an update on a spare part order. The support person who cannot help you with your billing question even after you've waited on hold for an hour. The building materials supplier whose late delivery costs you thousands of dollars in lost labor and causes you project delays. Sidebar: what is customer experience? Customer experience is the cumulative impact, both emotional and practical, of all of the encounters and interactions that a customer has with a company. It's ironic but true. In an age in which a large majority of companies profess to rate a positive customer experience among their top strategic objectives, about 80% in 2 recent surveys by Bloomberg Businessweek Research Services, BBRS, examples of bad customer experiences abound. Executives, it seems, are doing a lot of talking about the importance of customer experience, but they are failing to back that up with technologies, processes, and policies that can consistently and cost-effectively foster customer happiness. These same executives will even admit to this failing, with most of them rating the customer experience offered by their own firms only slightly higher than mediocre, according to BBRS data. Walking the talk, they are not. The fact is, there are 2 sides to a successful and profitable customer experience. The employees are on one side, and the customers are on the other. In most cases, employees are motivated to satisfy customer needs and desires, but they are not empowered to do so. Imagine, for example, a customer phoning the call center of a large bank. Say this customer has discovered something disturbing in her online bank account. A check for $10,000 that she deposited a few days ago is marked hold, and the funds are not available. After toying with the idea of trying online chat support, she decides instead to call the support center. Once she is in the interactive voice response system, she punches in her account number and listens to a list of options until she can finally press 0 to speak to a customer service representative, or CSR. The CSR asks for her account number. Why? She just entered it. And then for the verbal password on her account. Increasingly anxious, the customer replies that she does not recall ever choosing a verbal password, whatever that might be, so she could not possibly know what it is. The CSR then asks her a series of questions, from her Social Security number to her address to her phone number to her mother's maiden name to the amount of a recent deposit. Once she has supplied all of that, 3 minutes into the exchange, the customer can finally ask why the check was being held, only to be told that the bank does not have any specific information on that check. Her options at that point? Get in the car, drive to her local branch, and wait in line for a supervisor who might be able to make an exception, or wait until the date when the hold is lifted and accept whatever consequences that might have for her bills in the meantime. It is no wonder the customer's stomach is in knots when she hangs up the phone. Meanwhile, the CSR is in no better shape. During the call, he has been well aware of the customer's anxiety, and he has had to seesaw between 2 computer screens, switch between 2 keyboards, and use several applications to track down all the pieces of information he needed in order to access the customer's various accounts and try to resolve her questions. He ends the call feeling frustrated that, once again, the best he has been able to do for yet another customer is simply apologize. As everyone knows, banks have stringent processes and security practices in place, as they should. These measures are there to safeguard our money. But if the CSR in this example had had easier access to the right information, and if the bank had had business applications that enabled a 360-degree view of the customer, our customer would not have had to repeat her information. Also, the CSR could have quickly discovered the reason for the hold. This was an out-of-state check for a large amount. In addition, he could have looked up historical information on the customer's account and discovered that she is a high-value individual with a variety of different types of accounts at the bank. With this information at his fingertips, the CSR could have either lifted the hold himself or quickly gotten a supervisor on the phone with the necessary authority to do it. How far this action would have gone toward making the customer happy. How much lighter of heart and stomach this customer would have been, and how much more likely she would have been to become a customer for life. Not to mention, think of how much more satisfied the customer service representative would have been with this increased level of empowerment. People who go into the field of customer service have a strong motivation to help other people and solve their problems. And just as customers get frustrated when CSRs cannot help them, the CSRs themselves also get frustrated when they do not have the right information to help customers. Sidebar: what is the Customer Experience Edge? The Customer Experience Edge differentiates a company from its competitors, is difficult for competitors to replicate, uses well-designed foundational and disruptive technologies, accomplishes its goals in a cost-effective, scalable, flexible, and sustainable manner that leads to profitability. This edge is the new business weapon that all businesses need if they are to create a differentiated offering that customers value, transforming them into not just loyal but passionate advocates who engage with you in co-creation and co-innovation and promote your offerings to others, boosting your revenues and profits. Loyalty versus lock-in. The sad reality is that many customers of large banks stay only because the costs of switching to a new institution are too high. New fees, combined with the time investment of notifying the numerous entities that deposit into or withdraw from the existing account, are a daunting deterrent to switching banks. Being locked in, however, does not create loyalty. Once a better option presents itself, any customer who is
Sample complete. Ready to continue?